For those of you that don't know me, my name is Shelley Hancock. I've worked for the National Learning Trust for the last 4 years as an education consultant. Prior to that, I trained to teach and taught for many years in Surrey, becoming an advanced skills teacher just 4 years after completing my NQT year. While not currently teaching, I still consider myself to be a teacher as I spend a lot of time in the classroom and have, through my role with the National Learning Trust, taken on seconded teaching posts as recently as last year. I'd like to begin by saying a huge congratulations to you all. It's no mean feat to get to this point in your teaching career, and you should never underestimate just how well you have done and how much you have achieved. You're at the beginning of what I hope will be a long and rewarding career. Reaching a milestone such as this, as well as being a cause for celebration, also provides a good point to stop and reflect on what you have achieved, how you have achieved it, who has helped you along the way, how you have developed as an individual, what has gone well for you, and what hasn't gone quite so well, and how you might approach things differently in the future. Great teachers are incredible, dedicated individuals. But to deliver the best to the young people we work with, you need to be at your best. So you must ensure that you are making good decisions about what you do with the time that you have. For many of you, this will be reduced next year as you will no longer receive your 10% NQT release time, and you are likely to find that the expectations of you may well be even higher. This will without doubt make managing your time and workload even more challenging, and you will need to be both organised and realistic about what you can and can't do. More years ago than I care to remember, before I became a teacher, I worked for an educational charity, and the workload there was incredibly high. The chief executive of the charity was a remarkable lady who worked incredibly hard and achieved amazing things. I worked very closely with her for many years, and she taught me a lot about managing workload. She called it the MSC system. What must you do? What should you do? And what could you do? I took that advice with me into teaching, and while it requires me to be very honest with myself about what I must, should and could do each day, it has definitely helped at those times when the to-do list seems endless and I haven't known where to begin. And at the heart of those must, should, could decisions is always my thinking, what impact will me doing or not doing this have on the children I am teaching? I hope many of you will have already watched the video, Working Together on Workload, released by the Department for Education and featuring Damien Hines, Secretary of State for Education, Amanda Spielman, Ofsted Chief Inspector, Professor Becky Allen from University College London, Kevan Collins from the Education Endowment Foundation, Sean Hartford, Ofsted National Director of Education, and representatives of the teaching profession from across the country, which makes some interesting and noteworthy remarks about the professionalism of our profession and the individuals within it. Damien Hines talks about things that teachers don't need to do. And Amanda Spielman references an independent report on marking and the powerful message within it. If the impact on pupil progress doesn't match the hours spent, then stop it. She referred to this as an important mantra, and I would agree. This, along with the messages conveyed throughout the video, is empowering to us as classroom practitioners, allowing us as trained professionals to decide what we think will have the most favourable impact on outcomes for the pupils in our classes. We are all trained professionals, just with differing degrees of experience and experience of different settings. So don't be afraid to trust your instincts. but never forget to be reflective. As a beginning teacher, I worked with a senior colleague who gave me a piece of valuable advice. It actually came about one day as I was worrying about my NQT professional development portfolio. I'd been too busy planning lessons, teaching classes, marking work, and providing feedback to the pupils I taught, that I hadn't been keeping my evidence file up to date. He placed my portfolio, they were actual physical files with bits of often handwritten paper in back then, on the highest shelf in the office, where at just 5 foot tall, I couldn't reach it very easily. And he said, "I need you to keep doing what you are doing. You're getting it right in the classroom, and that's what matters. Keep getting it right in the classroom, and everything else, including the evidence you need, will follow." I'm constantly grateful for that advice, and credit it in part with giving me the confidence a few years later to say yes when asked if I would consider applying to be an advanced skills teacher. It is advice I now give others, like yourselves, and still follow today, and I hope you will take heed. The most important thing any of us can do as teachers is to get it right in the classroom. While I'm not saying anyone should be cutting corners or not doing important tasks, I am saying that we do have to be realistic, and we have a responsibility as trained professionals to decide how to use our precious time, and we should choose to carry out those things that will have the most positive impact on pupil progress, and more often than not, creating evidence for evidence's sake isn't one of those things. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Rather than this making you appear unconfident, it takes quite a degree of confidence to feel able to say, "I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I'm not sure what I need to do. Can you help or advise me?" By the same token, don't underestimate yourself. Just like we encourage the children, when someone asks you to do something out of your comfort zone, as long as it feels morally right and looks like it will bring benefits to the outcomes for the young people we work with, say, "I'll give it a try. I'll give it a go. I'll do my best." However, as I've already mentioned, doing your best needs you to be at your best. So remember to take care of yourself. It's also okay to say no, particularly if what you are being asked to do doesn't seem as if it will improve outcomes for the pupils we teach. So, what next? Teaching is a career, which by definition is an occupation undertaken for a significant period of a person's life and with opportunities for progress. To career is to move swiftly and in an uncontrolled way. You can ensure that your teaching career is more of the former and less of the latter by always being reflective and by using what is at your disposal to continue to develop as a professional. To do this, it is important that you continue to engage in professional development. You have been fortunate this year that your school has supported you with an NQT programme. Find out what is on offer to you next year, and ideally your school will support you to join our NQT+1 CPD programme, which is tailored specifically for teachers such as yourself at the start of their careers. If such an option isn't available to you, then consider what else is out there and what you can do for yourself. It is very easy to get bogged down in the day-to-day tasks we all need to complete as teachers to ensure things run smoothly in our classrooms and to say, "I just don't have time." But you and your pupils will reap the benefits of making time. Talk teaching, classroom practice and pedagogy with your colleagues. Observe more experienced colleagues. Offer to observe and support less experienced colleagues. After all, you have a very good understanding of what it is like to be starting out in teaching. And never be afraid to try something new or take a risk. Just remember to be reflective with regard to the impact of your actions. Read around your areas of interest, whether subject related or pedagogy. Keep up to date with latest developments. Try out new ideas and share the outcomes, good or not so good. There are lots of organisations and platforms to help you do this. Consider joining the Chartered College, follow teaching advocates on Twitter. Find out about teach meets and network meetings that are happening in your area. You may also be considering your next step in your teaching career. Indeed, many of you may have been appointed to lead subjects within your school. Far from being daunted by this is a fantastic opportunity to show you have the skills and the courage to bring about positive change and to lead by example. Whatever the subject, whether it is one you have an interest in or one you were given because you were late to a staff meeting, there are lots of professional organisations out there sharing expertise and resources. As a science specialist, I often use resources from organisations such as the Royal Society for Chemistry and the Association for Science Education. And organisations and resources such as these exist for other subjects too. Treat it as a challenge to make the subject you have been chosen to lead the most popular within your school, with staff, pupils and the wider community. I hope that you, like I, have found a career that does indeed provide the occupation that you will undertake for a significant period of your life, and you will have opportunities to progress. And through doing so, will have a huge impact on the outcomes, lives, and the futures of many young people that pass through your classroom. We really do have the best job in the world. And finally, enjoy your summer break, take some time to relax. You have achieved something great this year, and when you return to school in September, you will be ready to help the young people in your classes achieve many great things in the future. I wish you all the very best.